One last one.
Yeah. Okay.
If a God did not exist,
Mm-hmm.
I would easily be able to have hope, meaning, and purpose in my life.
If God didn't exist, I would easily have... Okay. We'll just reverse.
Okay.
I love this.
All right. We can leave it there, or you want to ask me any questions?
Yeah. Explain the strongly agree.
All right. Where are we today?
We are in downtown Vancouver.
All right. We'll do a quick Spectrum SE session about religion. So what is the particular claim you want to talk about? God exists? Is that the claim?
Sure, we can do that.
All right. Would you want me to hide my bias about this, or do you want me to participate as well?
You can participate. I'm happy to learn your opinions and thoughts too.
You want me to participate? Okay. Can you hold this?
Yeah.
Okay. God exists. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh.
Okay. Why are you there?
I grew up in a really religious household, so I think not believing in a God would be really, really hard for me from just the way that I grew up. But in a specific God in an organized religion, I think that to me gets confusing and hazy. So I feel like one exists, but I feel like I'm more agnostic. Like I don't know what's out there, but something greater than me is there.
Okay. Yeah, is this God a particular God of a particular religion or denomination, or is it something else? How would you describe it?
I would say, well, the closest that I'm educated on is a Christian faith. So I imagine God as like this one solid unit that is good, but I don't want to say like I have any more particular things about it.
One solid unit, or
Yeah.
is it a trinity? Is it one God and three persons?
Yeah, I guess you could say something like that.
Okay. So I'm hearing a couple reasons. Is that one is mainly you were raised with it.
Yes.
So if you didn't believe it, that would potentially cause some issues in your family relationships?
Yes, but not in the sense that like I wouldn't stick up for what I believe in. I just think like because I believed in it for a good chunk majority of my life that it's really hard to undo that. So put me in a different household and in a different raising up way, potentially I'd have a different opinion because I think that if I'm being true to and honest with myself, I'm a little bit more wishy-washy on that and not as firm in maybe what I believe right now.
Okay. Any questions for me?
Why do you strongly disagree?
In terms of anything that I think is true or not, I think it needs to be included in some kind of good explanation. And I don't see this concept of a God showing up in many of the best explanations for things that I know of. So I see no good reason to think it's true because it doesn't show up in any good explanations.
I can see that.
Okay. Like, for example, you know, the reason why if you held out that microphone and dropped it, the reason why it would fall is not because of gravity, but that was Newtonian physics. We now have a different understanding of why things are attracted in it's like a warping of space-time. So that's our best understanding of why things are attracted to each other in terms of mass causes space-time to warp, not because of a force of gravity. So I used to think, before I knew about relativity, general relativity, that gravity was a thing. That was something that was real. But now I don't even think that exists. It's a warping of space-time that causes things to come together. So gravity used to show up in an explanation for why things fall in my mind. But now I've replaced that explanation with general relativity. So now gravity is not something that's actually real. So that kind of works the same way in terms of a God. Any kind of thing that I use a God to explain, I now have other explanations that I use for that.
I think Christian science teachers all around the world would be like, at that logic. Well, that's really cool.
Yeah. So what would be your best reason for thinking that a God is real?
For me, I think it's just some of the life experiences I've had of just like, when certain things just happen and you're like, how do you explain that? Actually, the best example I have is my sister. So
Your sister?
Yeah, so she's a childhood cancer survivor. So when she was born, she was actually born with eye cancer, so retinoblastoma cancer of her eye. And I was 4 at the time. I had a brother who was 3, so parents were just dealing with a lot, little kiddos, and having to kind of make big choices with their youngest. So she basically had like a 95% chance to live if they removed her left eye, and a 5% chance that they didn't. And so my parents ended up removing her eye, and they were going through a really difficult time, and my dad was in the military at the time, and so he was stationed about 4 hours north of where we were living. So my mom's having to raise 3 kids, deal with the cancer treatments, while my dad's going back and forth on the weekends trying to figure things out. And he was having a really hard time with the military letting him off and basically like have the time to be able to support my mom. And again, growing up in a religious household, they went to church every Sunday, and they decided to go to a particularly different church that week. Where I don't know, I think like a friend asked them to come visit and go to church with them, like, that community aspect type of thing. And so they went to the church, and there was this like thing at the end where you can kind of like give a blessing on your baby or that kind of thing. And my sister had come with my brother, and I had stayed home because we were sleeping in. And she went up to the priest or whatever in the front of the congregation. My mom just started sobbing and crying, and the priest or the pastor was like, what's wrong? And my mom was like, my baby has cancer. And he like showed my sister around to like the people of the community that was there, and was just like, I want every single one of you to go home and pray for this baby tonight. This family's really struggling. And so at the end of the church, to keep a long story short, they're all coming up to her like, oh, we're gonna pray for your baby, like, oh, like we got your back type of thing, whatever you guys need. And then later that night, my dad got an email from his boss's boss that works in San Antonio, Texas, 4 hours away from where we lived at the time, and was like, where's your wife at this church at this time? I saw your baby, I saw her there, and we're gonna help you do whatever you want. So like just the fact that he was there at that time, and when my family was kind of really going through a long thing, like those coincidences or like little like winks in life, like those kind of things, I really do feel like something bigger's gotta like have your back in that kind of situation. So
did your sibling survive cancer? No longer?
She did.
She's
20 years cancer free.
All right. Can we go back to neutral?
Yeah.
So I'm hearing at least God has played some part in the healing of your sibling, your sister?
I wouldn't say it about the healing because, I agree with you on the science thing along those lines. Like, I don't know if that could have been a thing of control, but just being there for my family when we needed it most in the ways that we could have with the situation that we were dealt.
Well, let's just try this claim.
Mm-hmm.
The best explanation for why your sibling no longer has cancer includes a God. The best explanation for why your sibling no longer has cancer includes a God. Where would you be?
Includes a God. Say the question one more time.
The best explanation for why your sibling no longer has cancer includes a God. Like that shows up somewhere in that explanation. Okay. And that would probably be here.
Yeah.
Why would you say a God is in that explanation? What did the God cause the cancer to go away in some way?
No, I don't think the God caused the cancer to go away. I think we had really good doctors that caught it quickly before it spread so that we could contain it. I don't think God gave her cancer either. I just think like in life you get cards that you're dealt, and sometimes you get through it and sometimes you don't. I think he had a way of being with our family potentially in a rough time, but in terms of like the actual cancer themselves, I don't really think that he was part of that or helped cure her anyway.
Okay. So how does this relate to a God existing? The story about, your sibling having cancer and you going to a church and getting support, is it because like that religious community helped your family and that's potentially a good reason to believe a God exists?
See, like in my opinion, like I feel like there's good communities that can be made without a focus of a God in the middle. I agree with you on that. I think if that's what you're trying to say. But I think like in terms of the coincidences and like the specific situation where like that guy just happened to be there, I think that specific instance is like a way that I could believe that there's a God.
Could you explain that coincidence again? What was the coincidence?
So it was my dad's boss's boss, like the head honcho guy of the department, just happened to be in that church at the exact same time that my mom and my sister were there to be able, and then he saw them at that church. He was in that community at that time. And when my dad's paperwork got put onto his desk, because he had been pushing and pushing through and they was trying to get that approval, he knew exactly who it was because he just happened to be there on that Sunday day.
Okay, so your dad worked for someone?
Worked for the military, yeah, and that guy did too. Mm-hmm.
And he needed some kind of approval to get somewhere?
Leave, yes.
To leave.
Yeah,
so
time off.
So the explanation for why your dad was able to leave includes a God?
Yes, that I would agree
Where would
with.
you be for that? Okay. You would be agree for there?
Mm-hmm.
Why not strongly agree?
Because like I said, I don't know everything in the world, and I am maybe not as firm in my opinions on this as like I'd hope I'd be, and that's something that I'm still exploring myself, so I have to keep my middle ground, my neutral agreement ground.
Okay. Let's do one last neutral claim, because I know Travis has to go and work out.
Absolutely.
Let's do this last claim. If a God did not exist,
okay,
that would suck. Where would you be? That would be bad. I would be sad. It would suck. Something like that. Why?
I think a God potentially gives me hope. Growing up, heaven was the hot topic, and I think that sounds like the way that they make it sound, right? Like that just sounds like very hopeful and joyous, and I think it gives life a purpose. So without that purpose, it's like, like where's that in? It's all like intrinsic motivation. Like why be good? Why contribute to society? Like what are your drivers and what are your motivation? And a lot of people like that are religious, right? It's like to get to that like glory spot or to get to that heaven. For me, it's like I hope that there's something bigger and better out that's out there for me, and that's why I'm doing the things that I do and try to be the person that I am.
Okay, I lied. One last one.
Yeah. Okay.
If a God did not exist,
mm-hmm.
I would easily be able to have hope, meaning, and purpose in my life.
If God didn't exist, I would easily have. Okay. We'll just reverse.
Okay.
I love this.
All right. We can leave it there, or you want to ask me any questions?
Yeah. Explain the strongly agree. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I think I can have a lot of hope, meaning, and purpose in my life without a God. I think doing this is meaningful, helping people think through ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I think being able to have a good epistemology allows for us to solve our problems morally, technologically, civilizationally. So we just need to be able to come up with new explanations to solve any kind of conflicts of ideas, and that will help us get to wherever we want to hope to be.
Cool. Yeah, I like the difference in thought. It's cool to hear different people's perspectives, especially just like, how different experiences shape us and our thoughts. So thanks for sharing.
All right. Thank you. That was fun.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Y'all just do this for funsies?
Yeah, this is good.
Cool.
All right.
Sweet.
See you later.
Thank you.